Recording. All right, we are recording. Hello, Professor Standifer. This is Project Group 2, and today we're going to be talking about the work-life balance. Just a brief overview of what we're going to be going over. We're going to first introduce some definitions and some resources about work-life balance. Then we'll talk about some benefits of a good work-life balance. We'll also move into discussing the diversity challenges within diversity of a work-life balance, some of the cultural effects it may have, how employees can improve their way of life through work, managing stress and emotions, and how managers can also help balancing work and life. So Nick will talk about work-life balance.
Oh, am I?
Maybe not. Who's supposed to be talking about that?
Yeah, I did this. I'll do
I
it.
think we should restart already.
Yeah, unless we want to just try it once all the way through.
Yeah, just try it once all the way through.
All right, I'll just do these three then, the 4, 5, and 6. I'll do these three.
All right.
All right, so work-life balance, the definition is the amount of time spent doing your job compared to the time spent with your family or doing other things you enjoy. A few key goals at work are to set manageable goals, be efficient with your time, and communicate or ask for flexibility at your workplace. And a few key goals at home are to stay active, get support, do not overcommit, spend quality time, and remain available but removed. You can go to the next slide. First is diversity, and diversity is the inclusion that involves allowing all individuals to bring aspects of themselves that make them unique, while also being treated as insiders. In organizations that are inclusive, organizations make efforts to ensure that all individuals are allowed to participate in the organizational life fully. Their voices are heard and efforts are made to remove barriers to create fair treatment for everyone. Research has shown that a climate of inclusion is necessary to turn diversity into an advantage for organizations. It's important to consider that diversity and inclusion together doesn't necessarily mean the workplace is diverse. Simply having diversity does not mean it is inclusive, and without inclusiveness, it is not sufficient to yield the positive outcomes. However, when it is successful, it brings an increase to an understanding and customer service, increases satisfaction of the workforce, and higher company performance. On the next slide. There are a few key definitions, and in order to reach these benefits of company, they must overcome all of these challenges. Similar attraction phenomenon, the tendency to be more attracted to individuals who are similar to us, surface level diversity, the traits that are highly visible to us and those around us, such as race, gender, and age, and deep level diversity, which is the values, beliefs, and attitudes of a person. Unconscious or implicit biases, such as stereotypes about a specific group that are held outside of conscious awareness. These are all challenges that can create fault lines among peers at work. However, if these all can be overcome, the benefits of diversity are of great importance to a company. That's next slide.
So the cultural effects on work-life balance, the first and major one is definitely going to be ethnocentrism. And this is this thought that your culture is somehow better than any other culture that's on the planet. Obviously, this can lead people to become unmotivated and unsatisfied if they're in a culture that's not theirs, significantly not theirs. We see this problem a lot, especially in America. Thoughtful organizations are mindful of this, though. They figure out ways to combat this. I know there was a video in the book about Jeff Bezos and Amazon and how he talks about this work-life harmony that he wants to instill in his company. There's also this aspect of nurturing versus aggressive cultures throughout the world. And in aggressive cultures, we do not see very much of a work-life balance. We see competitive, cutthroat, achievement-driven, not really focused on the individual at all, rather focused on the bottom line. Nurturing cultures more often than not put their emphasis on relationships. They have better avenues to care for individuals within an organization. And this most of the time relates to better work-life balance than an aggressive culture. So when you're in an organization, you really want to instill a nurturing culture versus an aggressive culture. So organizations need to be aware of what cultures put what amount of emphasis on what work-life balance. So the boomers, right? They were, just nose in the mud, definitely gonna work that 9 to 5 job, not ask any questions, just do their job and not really think about any change. Millennials are different. We're going to try and work as least as possible, but still get the job done. We work different odd hours. It's just a completely different culture now than what it was. So as we went through some kind of definitions and vocab words on the last slide, on this slide, I want to kind of bring it into what an organizational culture would look like. So like I just said, there's a huge shift from the 1950s to now. People are working differently than what they used to. And that is indicative in this table from Saab Hasri. He wrote an article about really nexusing this work-life balance. And so essentially what this table dictates is it's got a bunch of variables on one side, and he surveyed 100 people, and the correlation coefficient for all these variables, which was answers of what's important to people, to employees within an organization, they all are significant. All these correlation coefficients are significant. So this is the culture that really matters in a work-life balance, right? You see supportive management, leave policy, career break options, flexible working environment. All those things are really what's going to bring about a good, solid culture that leaves employees satisfied and motivated.
Okay, awesome. So now we're going to move on to work attitudes and behaviors. So according to Bauer, the author of Organizational Behavior, Bridging Science and Practice, work attitudes are defined as opinions, beliefs, and feelings about aspects of our environment. This connects very closely with work behaviors, which deals with how our work attitudes affect the things that we do to complete our goals or objectives in the workplace. Some things that correlate with work attitude and behaviors are job satisfaction, organizational commitment, and job engagement. Job satisfaction simply deals with how employees perceive their jobs on a satisfaction level. Employees with higher job satisfaction dedicate themselves more to their companies and are more likely to bring a positive work environment to the workplace. This is very important because it not only affects employees that have low job satisfaction, but even those with higher job satisfaction, because it is possible for employees to talk and communicate with others with higher satisfaction and bring about incorrect information and false accusations. With that in mind, according to a recent SHRM study, SHRM being the Society for Human Resource Management, the study revealed that 89% of respondents were at least somewhat satisfied with their jobs. This ties very well into organizational commitment. Organizational commitment not only deals with job satisfaction, but also the specific perceptions that employees have about their workplace emotionally. If you perceive what you're doing in your workplace as scummy or untrustworthy, they will they will obviously not be as committed to the mission of the organization. Likewise, if the opposite is perceived, an employee will feel more committed to benefit themselves and the company. All the examples of work behaviors can not only affect company performance, but also your own. For example, according to the University of Minnesota libraries, 90% of the employees surveyed said that they were somewhat satisfied with their jobs. A recent study also stated that 40% were very satisfied. This shows that employees and employers really need to work together to create the perfect work-life balance and create a great environment to work in. This relates back to work-life environment because stressors and successors at work can be brought back home. This can bring positive and negative stress. It is great to be passionate about your job, but everyone needs to wind down and not get burnt out. Similarly, negative aspects of your job should not affect your home life, or else it will circle back to every aspect of your life. Moving on.
So, as Patrick just said, there's a heavy correlation between job satisfaction and performance. And one of the best ways to achieve that job satisfaction is by achieving a healthy level of work-life balance. So, with that work-life balance, there are a few benefits that are studies have shown are directly correlated with that, including higher levels of worker productivity, stronger loyalty levels from employees, less days where employees are feeling stressed out, bogged down, or physically unwell and they call in sick. Improved customer service, because as Patrick said, when you're satisfied, you're more likely to be like more of an outgoing person and have like you're more friendly. As well as finally, you achieve like a better mental state and physical health, which overall leads to more productivity. Next slide. So, as we saw in the book, managing stress and emotions can be a very difficult process, but there are quite a few ways in which you can try to reduce stress levels and achieve a better emotional state. Some of these methods can be very simple, just lifestyle changes like better dieting and exercise. Or when you're on your days off for the weekend, you just plain relax. You can either do that by meditation or investing some time into your hobbies. And properly managing your time when you're out of work, like you can spend some time with your family and friends, and also try to avoid bringing work home. Doing all those things can help you achieve like a better mental state, physical state. It's just a lot less stress going around.
All right, now that we've talked about the importance of work-life balance, we've talked about some ways that managers can help their employees achieve it. And managers being supportive is super important. A supervisor who can provide emotional and practical support leads to employees that have more fulfillment at the job and home. And that's little things from like making employees feel comfortable taking personal time to kind of being somebody there if they have anybody they need to talk to about other stuff, even if it's not in the workplace. Other things they can do are encourage employees to maintain a work-life balance by creating boundaries. Maybe they'll say, after 6 p.m., don't respond to any employee emails, or when you're on personal leave, don't talk to us, kind of take the time for yourself. And finally, they can improve their own work-life balance. And when employees see a manager who's happy with their job and happy with their life at home, it kind of helps them find that balance and be satisfied with it. And then employees for themselves, things that they can do to improve their own work-life balance is find a job that they love. I mean, if you're going into a job that you really hate every day, it kind of is hard to not take that home with you a little bit. Getting home frustrated after a long day of work kind of get in the way. Taking vacations, you have personal time, take advantage of it, and really kind of enjoy that and separate it from your work. Setting goals is another thing you can do at work, things that you want to be able to do or get done. When you achieve those, it kind of helps satisfy that, the goals at work, and then you can take that home if you want to. And then again, setting boundaries, we kind of talked about this. Maybe your manager doesn't want to do that, but you can say like, hey, after 6 p.m., I'm not really comfortable responding to work stuff. That's it. And yeah, we should probably take those slides off actually. I don't know if she wants to see them.
It said I could press Alt-R to stop the recording. And I don't know if it stopped the recording.
On my screen, it looks like it's still going, but
yeah, it didn't.